al-Sharif al-Jazeera شمال غزة.
He was killed by Israel late on Sunday night, alongside fellow Al Jazeera reporter Mohammed Qreiqeh and their cameramen Mu'min Aliawa, Mohammed Nawfal and Ibrahim Zahir. Israel killed these journalists in a direct airstrike on a tent they worked from in Gaza City, which was clearly marked and known to be for journalists.
On Sunday night, the world lost two of Gaza's most courageous voices. Anas al-Sharif, 28, and Mohammed Qreiqeh, 33, were killed when Israel deliberately targeted a media tent outside Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza. Deliberate targeting, according to Al Jazeera, NPR, Reuters, and according to Israel itself. So yeah, don't try it, TikTok trolls. This is fact-based reporting. Israel admitted targeting him. Their justification? Apparently, this journalist was in a Palestinian resistance H group cell, right, a group of people, and was somehow related to a rocket attack on Israel. Source? Trust me, bro. Otherwise, maybe you're anti-Semitic. How about that? That's might as well be. That's the source. Trust me, bro. Now, these weren't just any journalists, these two. They were the eyes and the ears for millions watching Gaza's tragedy unfold. Their footage and their reporting from the ground in person showed what was going on. And even if those people in power across the world have blind hearts, even if the same could be said of the administrations in the West and the Middle East and anywhere and everywhere else, even if geopolitics, which I cover, and its harsh realities meant that no nation can or would save the people of Gaza, even then, at least these journalists brought to the eyes of the people, to you, to me, the common people, the reality on the ground. So you can see for yourself, and so you can judge for yourself. Now, you guys know me, right? Going off script here. You guys know me. I'm a huge advocate for providing the news and the analysis unbiased and without the spin on it, without the Western spin, without any other spin on it, allowing you to decide for yourself, allowing you to hear what I have to say and then research yourself or go through my more detailed content and find the answer for yourself. Now, journalists like these people, they are, well, you know, a couple of orders of magnitude above me. If I'm 1 point, they're 100, 1,000 points. Well, more actually, really. But they were doing the same thing. They're showing you on the ground what's actually there, what's actually happening. And Israel couldn't have that. Can't have the truth floating around. That's disgusting. Ugh. What's that, brother? It's hard, after all, to put a spin on the reality recorded live and on the ground, from the ground. So, silence the voices. So Israel took them out and then justified it. Justification, by the way, analytically speaking, is expected. It's not a surprise. Even 1930s Germany, which is probably the worst example the common Western English-speaking person can think of, even 1930s Germany, which, you know, the name of the regime, the head of the regime, you can't even name them without getting banned or blocked or demonetized. So much for censorship in the East Asian countries. Bruv, there's censorship here. Even there, they used justification for what they were doing. The unspeakable crimes. Well, the unspeakable crimes are going on now, guys. Back then, they were justifying it. They said, here's our reason for what we're doing. Now, you don't have to agree with their reason. Most people won't agree with their reason. But a reason they did give. So just giving a reason and then you lapping it up. You know, loads of these pro-Israeli individuals, they just lap it up. They're like, oh, Israel said this, so it must be right. Mate, fact check. Verify. Now, Anas al-Sharif was born in the Jabalia refugee camp and graduated from Al-Aqsa University's Faculty of Media. And for 22 months, he refused to leave northern Gaza despite Israeli evacuation orders. He continued to document airstrikes and massacres with unwavering determination. His father was killed by Israel in December of 2023. Other members of his family were also lost in the later months. Yet he continued reporting. The other journalist, the 33-year-old Qreiqeh from Gaza's city's Shujaya neighborhood, I believe, had lost his brother Karim in March and his mother earlier when Israeli forces stormed Al-Shifa hospital. He searched then later on for a couple of weeks for his family members' bodies, eventually finding her decomposing remains on hospital stairs. It really is hard to. We can't imagine what's going on there. I invite you to put yourself in the shoes of these people, just looking around for like lost family members, and you just come across their body parts. Yet he, Qreiqeh, continued reporting. Both men left behind or leave behind right now wives and young children, a son and a daughter and wives. Over 270 journalists, similar to these gentlemen, have been killed, according to multiple outside sources, since October of 2023, making this the deadliest conflict for media workers in recorded history. Not World War II, not World War I, not Yugoslavia, nothing. This is the worst one for journalists. Most journalists have died in this tiny strip of land than anywhere at any other period of time, any other conflict. Their final message to the world was, keep watching and keep witnessing, and don't let Gaza's truth be silenced. Now you're probably thinking, Mahfouz, well, first of all, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Now you're probably thinking, Mahfouz, what's the flipping point anymore? Well, I won't go too deep into the flipping point in this video, but I'll give you a summary. The common citizens across the world have power. I'm speaking to you specifically, whoever you are watching this video, you have power. The wealthy elite, not everyone who's rich, by the way, but a great many of the wealthy elite want their power not to be challenged because their power is exercised. They can already lobby. They can already influence. I don't know why I said it like that. They can already influence. They already have access to politicians. They already have the money to pay for campaigns, to sway policy locally or governmentally how they want. The common people also have huge power, but a lot of the time is dormant. It's asleep. It's not activated. And the wealthy elites that have a vested interest don't want your power to be activated, because why? Why would they give up a slice of the pie? There's a slice of the pie that's just grayed out, and their slice is alive and well. Why would you want the grayed out slice to sort of activate? It makes no sense. They want the people's power, the common people's power, to be grayed out, to stay dormant. And challenge to their power is very possible if the people are informed and if the people rise up, stand up on issues that are important to the people. And in the last 2 years, enough has not been done to stop the crisis in Gaza. That much is for sure. That's a fact. But Western nations and their allies' sentiment and their support for Israel, so much has changed on the Israel-Palestine front. So much has shifted. If you look back 2 years ago, it's night and day, the policy, the wording, the rhetoric, the framing, the things you can say, things you can't say anymore, the majority of citizens, which way they sway. So much has changed, and that too is a fact. And all that has happened primarily because people like you, people like me, average Abdullah, average Joe in their box office, home office in London or wherever the heck you are, people like us are standing arm in arm with others, common citizens, to stand up for what they believe in, to fight for what they care about, and that moves the needle. Animation budget, zero animation budget in effect. That's the needle moving. Yeah, I could just put an animation, but why spend time and money? If you care for a cause, do not stop speaking. Do not stop pushing for what you believe in, what you think your nation should stand for, because then you're giving up and you're ceding ground. You're giving ground to those who would love for you to stay as you are, bowed and blind. Do not stop your activism. And as for the analysis, I'll be here doing that bit. I'll be here doing my part, bringing you the news and the analysis, unbiased and without the Western spin, so you can choose for yourself what side to sit on, if any, on any cause that I cover. I'm Mahfouz, and I'll see you on the next one.
أنس الشريف، الجزيرة، شمال غزة.